Hi, this is Scott Trout, CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. There are many life changes that can happen after divorce that make it difficult or impossible to uphold requirements of your divorce decree. The orders issued in a divorce are based on the facts presented at that time, but the circumstances used in issuing those orders can obviously change. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell.
Contact CordellCordell.com, 1065 East Hillsdale Boulevard, Suite 310, Foster City, California, 94404.
Do you have my... Oh, there we go. What's the... hey, how does this sound if I play something from here?
I'm too old for this.
That's a little hot.
That's
okay. A little hot.
Hot fire.
I'll fix it.
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan. Here we have Brian Moote.
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend.
And Brad Nolan.
No, my wife wants to flip the swinger switch.
Just two boys without man buns.
I don't even know if that's true anymore. What's up? I'm Brad Nolan, and Brian Moote is here.
To be fair, if I could grow a man bun, you better believe I'd have a man bun right now. And I have been fighting the thinning hair of the white man. Is that a white guy thing? The thinning,
for sure.
Wispy.
Sure, why not?
It looks like a wispy paintbrush.
It's like a guy thing.
That's Patrick, by the way. Patrick Moote with
up?
us. We will be talking today. We'll get some colon cancer updates. The plight of the colon cancer. That's battle with colon cancer.
Yeah.
We're also going to talk
Fighting it.
about lying versus misremembering, a Malcolm Gladwell interview that I heard that I want to talk about. But I want to say this first. We're going to talk about World Cup soccer in a second, which is perfect. We're opening about man buns. But I bought this Irie Store laser helmet.
You told me about this, but I was like, he's just kidding around.
No, I'm not.
I was about to bring it up when you were talking about the man bun.
For real.
And I was like, maybe you will have one.
Okay, listen, man. I've been losing my thinning my hair. My hair's been thinning since I was in my 20s. Yeah. And I wanted to stop it before it's too late. I don't want to wait until I'm bald and then try to do all this stuff. So I bought this Irie Store infrared laser hair regrowth helmet. And I fired it up for the first time yesterday. And it feels like my head is sunburned. I'm supposed to do it every other day. And it's supposed to it stimulates blood flow to the scalp and then regrows your hair. So what I'm saying, Brad,
it's a lie.
It's got 4.5 stars, and the FDA approves of it.
The internet never lies, you guys. It's all
Shut
true.
your yap.
Although that is my mark on that's my Yelp mark
dare you,
or my
Patrick.
my Amazon mark is like 4.5. I'll buy it. That's cool.
Oh yeah,
Sure. I'm into that.
Fake news.
Yeah,
Listen,
that's right.
well, no, it's real news. You guys are fake news. My hair regrowth helmet is real news, and I'm going to use it every other day, man. And I'm going to have flowing locks of slowly graying hair that's blotchy when I decide to use Just for Men and diet.
I hope it just like goes rogue and like all the stuff it's firing into your head just grows one big fat strand of hair. Just one giant
It's like a samurai braid.
You look like Earthworm Jim.
Ginsu rope.
I forgot to mention too that we're going to be talking about how manipulative and evil my wife is.
Okay.
As well.
Awesome.
Today on the show.
I was wondering why you're so pensive.
I know.
Brad is pretty sour today.
All right, so let's talk about soccer, yeah?
World Cup. The World Cup is here.
Ole, 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 ole.
The World Cup.
You are one pathetic loser.
That's actually true. Listen, I'm faking excitement. I think we all are, right? I mean,
Yeah,
let's
how
be
can you
honest.
not?
I'm not. I'm excited.
Shut up. You're a betting person.
No, I'm
You don't even
excited.
count. No, you're excited because of money, because of betting, because of action, and because NBA basketball is over,
Yeah.
and so is hockey. Hockey is over. Baseball is in the throes of who gives an F, and now we have games that matter for betting. That's why you care.
I mean, if you looked at my gambling history,
Dude,
I
you
should not
suck
be
at it.
excited about betting.
Addiction.
I am.
It's called an addiction.
Oh, thank you. I wonder what it's
addiction.
called. I wake up in the morning and I'm like thinking about it already. What do you call that?
Gambling history, right?
I want to gamble on
History.
things I've never heard of.
Hey, it's like when I get out of bed in the morning, it's like sometimes all I can think about is that first drink. I love to party.
What do you call that?
That's the video on your match profile. I love to party.
Tailgating, man. I tailgate for life every day.
That's called sweetism.
The World Cup started this week, and it's in Russia.
Olé, baby.
And America did not qualify, and everybody's faking excitement. right? Not even my other countries that I like. Ireland didn't even make it. My other the one that I
My other countries.
the one that I fakely claim as a second home country just because I have Irish family.
Brian won't root for these S-hole countries.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to root for the S-hole countries.
There's a bunch of S-hole
I was
countries.
rooting for Saudi Arabia against Russia. That didn't happen. Fake news.
They colluded.
Collusion.
It's my Russian thing I found.
Oh, perfect, dude. That's perfect timing. Only like 30 seconds after we started talking about
That's
it.
how they win.
Great. Just nailed it, Brad. You nailed it. Brad, don't be sad.
Don't hurt his feelings
Right.
any
Brad's
further than they've
He's
been
a delicate
today.
flower today.
No, it's fine.
Oh, no, bring it back up. Bring it back up. It really
liked
adds to the segment.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not even sure it's Russian. Let's be honest. This is probably
No,
isn't
this is
even
Russian, probably.
That sounds racist when I do
kinda
it.
I haven't.
Everything sounds racist when I do something.
Well,
is this Russian?
Sorry, overprivileged rich white man.
I just haven't
Sorry.
seen enough episodes of The Amazing Race to determine whether that's Russian or not.
Hold on, real quick side note before we finish our rant on soccer. Pat just called me a privileged white guy, and here's a funny thing, and this is like 100% white privilege. Not this. I can't even come up with another reason for why I didn't get pulled over in my brand new Audi A4. It looks like a car that a white guy would be driving.
Yeah, sure.
But here's the thing.
The commander of cheese.
Yeah, that's what you are.
Here's the thing. I didn't have license plate on it at all for, ever. I got it in November, and the registration expired in December, but the date on the temporary paper plate had like faded in the sun so much that you couldn't tell what date it was. And then I've been driving it around Georgia and then Los Angeles for months with no license plate, not registered in any state. When I tried to get it registered in Los Angeles, they were like, we need the prior registration. I was like, here's the thing. It's never been registered. And the lady was like, you bought this in November. I was like, yeah, see, that's the thing. I've been just cruising on my whiteness the whole time. Or what if you get pulled over? I'm like, what if I get pulled over? I mean, come on.
Look at me.
I might get
Look at this car.
I might get a
so
big
white.
hug or a high five.
So if I get pulled over, I'll tell them where crime's
I'll
happening.
be like, hey, officer, officer, look at the elbow when you
Wait,
high
let's
five
not
me.
gloss over that one. If I get pulled over, I'll let them know where crime's happening.
a Crime Stopper tip, and then I'll ask if I get paid for this. Hey, do I get paid for this tip? All right, let's.
Listen, I have a similar story, actually. My car has been plateless since January of 2017.
But so you're not as white because they are trying to get after you about it.
Yeah, California was like, hey, you got to register this.
See,
Because they didn't know that for the last year I didn't live in California. They still don't have plates on it.
That's how we can rank our whiteness. How long we can ride completely dirty without the government knowing. And I could have done it forever. I was doing it in 2 states and they didn't even notice.
After Brian going like 8 months in 2 states of driving dirty and not getting in trouble for it once, he created such a big stink about having to go to the DMV. I have to go to the DMV. Do you know how hard it is there? Moo where?
I found myself bitching about a 45-minute. I was like, oh my God, I'm waiting to get my car verified, the VIN number verified. I'm sitting in the air conditioning, listening to a podcast I was going to listen to anyway. I'm sitting there going like, this is taking forever. I'd rather go sit somewhere else and do the same.
I could have just drove dirty forever. This is ridiculous.
To be fair, man,
Can't believe I'm here
the first
right now.
time I walked out of there and they said it needed the original registration, and I don't have an original registration. I have like the bill of lading from like being imported from Japan or wherever Audi is made. That is the only paper I have.
Germany.
Yeah, not even close.
9. I don't know.
I love how we went from talking about soccer to
All right,
To
we're on
not
the
knowing where an
Listen,
Audi's made.
Screw it. We shouldn't root for anyone in this World Cup. Let's stop faking it, Americans. America is out. We should be sad about it. And we know what we should do. We should let all these American players have it. Because what have they been doing this whole time? Going to soccer camps and running around and their parents carting them from practice to practice while we're getting our asses whooped by countries who don't even have shoes.
Hey, can I?
They don't have shoes. Iran isn't it? Nike took their shoes away. That's how mad we are.
How do they run?
They're just faster than us.
Iran.
That's where our white privilege stops, is speed on the soccer field.
It's hard to root for
Sounds
America.
racist when you say it.
Yeah, it does.
It does sound super racist. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about whether you're lying or misremembering Brian Williams. You know, that NBC anchor who got busted. And a Malcolm Gladwell podcast. This is the Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan. That was just hot fire from beginning to end.
Well, it wasn't terrible.
Dude, Iran. You didn't like my Iran joke?
No, I thought it was terrible. It was literally the only thing about the break that was terrible.
I didn't.
Brian Moote is a stand-up comedian. Brad Nolan is a stand-up dad. The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
To be fair, I didn't even hear your joke. I was too busy on my rant
So good.
about why we should not coddle these American soccer players who were going to the Skyhawk soccer camp at Fort Casey.
You
It's a
said
very specific reference.
you said we're getting beat by people with no shoes, and then you referenced Iran, and I was like, how do they run with no shoes?
Brad, you should have turned his microphone off.
I know, but
You gave me a death stare.
It's fine.
I did give the death stare of shut your dirty mouth. You shut your dirty mouth. Old Fumbledore. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We didn't remind anybody.
bad.
You got to text the word Moote, MOOTE,
that's right.
to 36260. You can actually text with Brian. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but also the podcasts are there.
And I've been. I put up a link last week of whatever the hell we were talking about. Oh, Pat stuff.
Oh, you did do that. I was very impressed
I did.
by that because I downloaded this.
I'm a man
thing,
of
and
my
it's pretty
word.
cool.
I'm a man of my word, and when I say I'll put something on the front page, I will put it on the front page.
All right, misremembering.
Yeah, so I listened to this podcast. Malcolm Gladwell, who's a super smart dude. He's one of those types who's just like a sophisticated philosopher, science type. He's got a podcast called Revisionist History, and it's basically examining things we look back in history and that are incorrect. And because he's got that kind of like, I can pontificate about this and tell you where you're wrong thing. Now, Brian Williams is an NBC anchor, and I don't know if you remember this, but he was the one who told the story on David Letterman, late night, or was it the Late Show with David Letterman? Oh, man, I miss David Letterman. About being in the Black Hawk helicopter and being shot down in the Middle East and having to like wait out like a sandstorm.
Right.
He tells that story, and he's told this story a lot, but it's changed over time. And when he tells it on Letterman, on the internet, it goes viral, and all the guys who were in those Black Hawks are like, dude, that guy was not there. That he was not anywhere near there as a news anchor. He was in one behind. And then it turned out he was accused of lying, and he was blasted by, ironically of all people, Matt Lauer for like his ethics. Which, hearing Matt Lauer,
That's really inappropriate.
I mean, your way to deceive someone. So, but the whole premise of the podcast is should we trust our memory, and do our memories change over time? And the more times we tell a story, do they change, and do we become committed to those things? And I mean, that's why personally, old people are always the coolest to me, because, man, I don't think they know what the hell they're talking about, and it's amazing.
Yeah, no, they have the best stories, and then you go we were talking about this earlier. Like that's because they're just feeding you lies.
Because it's a bunch of BS, man.
Like I remember our grandpa telling me stories, and I'm like, that's Die Hard. That's not you.
It's like they're telling a best of everything they've ever heard from their friends.
That's a great way to look at it.
So what I wanted to explore on this segment was, do you know anything in your life that you look back now and realize that it's not that we're lying, it's that we tell the stories over and over again, and because we're only human and we look for gratification, that we're trying to make these stories more interesting every time. Like, for example, 9/11 was a big study on this podcast, and they had people who had handwritten letters and sent them after 9/11, like, 2 or 3 days later, because phones weren't working and internet wasn't working. They were sending notes to people, their friends, like, this was my experience. And then they would have these people like recount their experience, right? And then they would have them read the letter they wrote to their significant others the day after 9/11, and they would look at it going, that's not what happened. This is my handwriting, but that is not what happened. Because over time, they've adopted all these other pieces of everyone else's stories to make theirs more entertaining. Because as we know, as people who run our mouths for a living, nothing worse than you telling a story, knowing it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Like knowing that and looking at someone's face and they know it, and you're like, God, I got to pull something out of my ass right now.
I think I've done that, like literally done that with movies before, where like people are talking about like, I found $100 bill once. It's like, oh, I remember this one dude, like he hit me. I was on my bike and he like backed into me and he didn't have any money to pay for my bike. So he just wrote a check for me, but he left it blank. So then, like, I could do whatever. Oh no, wait, that was blank check. I forgot.
I broke my arm when I was playing Little League, and when I came back out of a cast, I could throw 130 miles an hour. It's pretty
I remember that. Oh, for the Cubs. You played for the Cubs.
It's crazy.
How did I miss that,
bunch
Brian?
of angels in the outfield.
One of my favorite examples of that was when I was in college, I said, one drunken night, I was like, hey, I think I've designed the perfect nightclub. I think I know what the perfect nightclub would look like. right? And so I spelled it out or whatever, and I was like, this is what the perfect nightclub looks like. And 6-7 months later, all me and my friends are all drunk. Kind of a different group of friends, but some people are the same. And my friend, whose name is Brad, coincidentally, told my thing.
Oh.
He's like, guys, I think I know what the perfect night. I was like, is he just pranking me right now, or did he enjoy that description of a nightclub so much that he internalized it and was like, I came up with this. This is my idea.
Well, what's funny about it is, like, I just realized, because I've been thinking about other things. I know Pat has an example of one, too, that's really, it's really funny, and it's actually from my life. But I was convinced, I was in college, and I was on an airplane flight, and I took a nap, and I woke up, and I was like, solar-powered cell phone chargers. I got to get into it. I got to look into this. Then I get back to my dorm, and I'm like feverishly Googling how I'm going to make cellular, I'm like, oh, it'll be on the back of the battery pack, and you just put your phone upside down on a dashboard. And then I was like literally spending hours of my life trying to like workshop these and come up with a prototype, but I don't know how to do any of that. So I'm like asking around if anyone knows electronics and stuff. Turns out I was looking at a Sky Mall before I went to sleep. And they had the same thing I thought I invented, and it was actually wasting time looking into it, but they had already created it.
That's funny.
And probably sold it for $500,000 more than it should be sold for. Along with Harry Potter rings.
Yeah, Sky Mall was the best. You also came up with the massaging dog bed. The other idea you came up with.
Oh, dog stairs. By the way, dog stairs. I looked up the other day. I don't even think they have Sky Malls anymore, so I don't remember when this was when I say the other day, speaking of memory. But they had a set of dog stairs. And I was like, oh, my dog's so little, she could use those stairs. It was like $180. I was like, this bitch can sleep on the floor, man.
Ridiculous.
So, Pat, you have an example of a story that you commandeered.
I didn't commandeer it.
Yeah, you did.
Fake news.
I'm still not 100% sure that I wasn't there. But the story is that every time somebody talks about being on a boat, I go to my go-to story, which is when I was a kid, I was out on a boat with my uncle and some other like family friends, and we lost the keys or the boat died or something. See, this is how I know I wasn't.
So it falls apart, there. Brian Williams.
So I thought that I was on this boat, and we were stuck out on this boat for like 5-6 hours, and all we could eat is apple fritters. I've used this story both in pastry conversations, boat conversations, fishing conversations, anything water or pastry related. I've used this story, and I was telling it once, like probably about a year and a half ago, and Brian was like, you weren't there.
Dude, that was my story.
I was like, wait, I wasn't? He's like, no.
Here's how I know Pat's wrong. He was not there. It was myself, my Uncle Dennis, and my friend's sister, Erin Flanagan. Not sure why she was there.
I remember
but then also
detail.
That maybe not be a detail, too. The boat was called the C Note. It was called the C Note. My mom hated it. It was this old, like, kind of borderline yacht fishing boat my uncle bought, and it just broke down floating, and we literally had 4 or 5 pounds of apple fritter that we had bought at a bakery because they were like trying to get rid of the apple fritter, and we were buying donuts. It was day old apple fritters. And that's all I was eating until we got towed in by in the Puget Sound up in Washington. We got towed by a sheriff's boat all the way to Anacortes, which is like 2 hours from where my mom lives. She was so pissed at my Uncle Dennis for taking us on this crappy boat that she just picked me up and left him there.
Yeah, good move.
She was
good
like,
move, Mom.
You stay here and you figure out your own way home.
But Brian, what happened to me? Where was I?
You weren't there.
I wasn't.
You stowaway. You were not on our boat. You did not eat apple fritter. Apple fritter was not ruined for you. I've never had apple fritter again, and I never will.
To be honest, I osmosis that part of it. I still won't eat apple fritters.
Apple fritter is the devil's balls.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I don't know if
Taint.
that's true.
Devil's taint.
Just looking for something funny to go out on. Taint's a funnier word, you're right.
Say it again.
Taint's a funnier word. Apple fritter is the devil's taint. All right, Brad, let's talk about your maniac wife.
What do we got? Wife crazy?
The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan. Here we have Brian Moote
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend.
and Brad Nolan.
No, my wife wants to flip the swinger switch.
Just two boys without man buns.
I've been a little under the weather lately. My name is Brad Nolan. Brian Moote is here.
Like physically under the weather or mentally under the weather?
A little bit of both. Pat's also here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's funny. You have been like low energy.
Yeah, really
Now,
low.
granted, you have a lot of work stuff going on, and you also have a 3-year-old daughter and a wife. So
Yeah.
that's gotta It's got to kill you slowly.
3.8. And it does kill you slowly.
That's like the trifecta of things I avoid: jobs, wives, and children. That's kind of it.
I have been feeling a little bit under the weather, physically, which is why it's the only reason I'm going to lose this bet with Pat. I have.
Yeah, dude, you're not even trying. Pat, hold on, let's tell them about the bet. So Brad and Pat made a bet, like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago? Maybe longer.
Yeah,
that you would lose 30% of your body.
No,
30% body.
I would get 15% body fat or lower,
which is like professional athlete status
by September 1st.
And Brad texted me after IHOP made their little IHOP switcheroo and set the internet on fire. Brad texted me a picture of trying out the burgers at IHOP. And I was like, well, he's officially given up on that bet.
For the protein, I didn't actually eat that burger. I took everything off. I just ate the meat.
I did a victory lap. Another one, also, because I'm in incredible shape.
After Pat's
I just do victory laps all day.
After Pat's colon surgery and everything, Pat is going to be 4% body fat.
Svelte, baby.
This is what's going to get him booked in acting, is when he comes out of this colon cancer situation, just shredded.
Yeah, I keep making this joke and Mom hates it, but this might be my big break.
I am down, so just to be fair, I am down 10 pounds
all right,
since we started.
You look good.
Yeah, gooder.
You look
gooder.
Look,
than before.
Here's the deal.
I mean, your cough sounds like garbage. You're dying right now.
We'll get to that in a second. My my cough is bad.
Don't steal my thing.
My wife is on this Beachbody kick, and she is shoving it right down my throat.
Yeah, they'll do that, man.
So the chances of me winning this bet, probably zero, because I don't have a lot of time left. I only have 2 months. But I have a full 2 months, because my wife and daughter are out of town for one of those entire months.
Do you expect that to be more healthy or less?
No, more healthy, because I'm not going to go home and have to hang out and do a bunch of stuff. I can just work out all the time.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
24 hours a day.
Earlier, I was like, I'm trying not to drink during the week, and Brad's like, that's going to end. My wife's out of town soon, so get ready for...
I work out.
Beachbody! You know what? I'm going to win this bet. Screw you.
Yeah, bring it on, bitch.
Yeah. I'm going to drink nothing but water and work out 3 times a day.
Dude, you drink 97 cups of coffee a day.
That's like you literally just said like every supermodel's diet. Bunch of cigarettes, coffee, and water. You're good.
So, for
just nothing but stimulants all day.
Mm-hmm. The first time it's ever been mentioned publicly that I smoke was just 5 seconds ago. So,
oh my God, that's the funniest thing ever, because one day Brad and I were talking. He's like, I think I'm just going to have to accept that, it's dawning on me that I'm a smoker. I'm like, you smoked cigarettes, you double fist. What are you talking about?
I don't, but on the air, like
oh, they can hear it. You sound like you ride a Harley. I know you have a Harley that you sit on. I've heard you ride it.
No,
sometimes.
Listen, it's branding. I play the part. You know what? You're right. I should start taking pictures with cigarettes in my hand, because I am super bad boy dad.
Yeah, you are bad dad, Brad.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. My wife has been getting increasingly concerned about my health because of the cough. It's getting a little bit bad. And I've been really stressed out at work, quite honestly. I don't really show that to the team, but I have been beyond stressed.
He thinks he doesn't show it to the team.
Well, look, I mean, you know me.
You do the best you can.
You know me. I don't think the rest of the team knows the level of stress I have been under since we got here. And so I've been my cigarette intake has increased by like 100% since I got here.
Hold on, real quick question. Is it because you want a cigarette, or you just need to get the hell away from everybody and just like relax outside for a second and just chill?
Here's the problem.
It's got to be a mixture of both, right?
It's a little bit mixture of both, but the problem is I'll go out and I'll have a cigarette and then I'll just pound away on my phone at a bunch of work. And so then now I'm just like, there's no value now at all. I'm not actually relaxing at all.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
I also struggle with depression, and so that's what's going on right now.
Wait, what is it? Where does the depression come from? What is the triggering thing in your life now that's hitting the depression? Because like professionally, we're very busy, sure, but also Los Angeles radio. We've been, as you know, both of us in terms of entertainment and professions have been in way more dire situations.
Correct.
So what's triggering the depression?
My relationship with this business has been tumultuous over the last few years, and so
it is one of those. Radio is one that every time you think you got it going well for you, either it gets sabotaged.
You guys should try acting. I'm crushing it over here.
That's right.
What do you guys?
Hey, shut up, man! Guy who's got it going great.
I'm on an island over here, just killing it.
No, so historically, my depression has been triggered by whatever amount of I'm not living up to whatever, right?
Right. So you're comparing yourself
to myself.
Oh, you should compare yourself to me. You'd feel so much better.
I just heard something about this the other day, and it's a funny phenomenon for people that when you hit your professional stride in your late 20s to early 30s, it's this like Jesus accomplished more complex.
Yeah,
where, like,
I don't
people
think it's
say, that's an extreme example, but
I don't care for him.
No, the example is that people go like, "Oh my God, Jesus accomplished more by the age of 32."
And I don't even know if I would agree with that premise.
Yeah,
for me.
Anybody can make water into wine now. It's easy. I can make grapes into wine.
You need water to make wine.
Yeah, duh. Jesus, not that smart.
No, the point is that people start to think like they haven't accomplished enough, or if you have, you start to feel like an imposter, where you're like, they're going to find out eventually that I'm not supposed to be here.
I have a little bit of that. There's a little bit of imposter syndrome going on right now, but also I have a tumultuous relationship not only with radio, but with this town. And so since I landed here for this job, I have been on a heightened sense of don't mess this up. And my depressions are usually low grade and they're constant. There's been a bit of a slip lately into a little bit more than low grade. But the bottom line is that I just haven't been taking care of myself, right? And my wife has been killing it. She has been taking care of herself.
Yeah, she's on it.
I mean, yeah, she's lost 30 pounds. She's down like 7 inches. She's just destroying. She's an amazing mom. And I'm falling apart physically as well, in addition to mentally. And so she says the other day, she's like, what's going on with the cough? I mean, in the middle of the night, you're like wheezing and shit. Like, what's going on? And I was like, well, I'll figure it out.
You're like, I have a bonfire in my lungs right now.
Basically, I was like, just leave me alone, woman.
Yeah, back off.
Beat it.
If it makes you feel any better, I got a chest CAT scan today.
Yeah.
And it terrified me, and I smoke way less than you.
Hey, by the way, this whole thing with you, thanks for this, because now my wife's like, you gotta go to the doctor.
Pat's in perfect physical condition, and he's dying.
Yeah, no, it's Pat had the guts to go to the doctor.
Yeah, I did have the guts.
that kind of thing.
I actually had the guts that made me go to the doctor.
Here's the manipulative move from my wife, though, the thing that drove me crazy today, and I kind of respect because I would have done the same. We're trying to cancel our gym membership because she's going out of town and I don't use it enough, so she feels like it's a waste of money for the moment. And so she made a doctor's appointment for me just so I could get a note to cancel the gym.
You're too unhealthy to even work out right now.
I don't know. I have fibromyalgia, so she's like, just get him to write that down and cancel the gym membership. But she did this. Her doctor was already willing to write me a note already.
You didn't need the appointment?
Didn't need the appointment. And she's like, just trying to help you out. And I was like, you sneaky woman.
Brad, I think you need this.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when we live in our dream.
Yay! You'll be okay, Brad, I promise. All right, Pat, you want to talk about your butt?
Yeah, let's talk about my butt.
Talk about your butt stuff?
This is it. Let's all go to the doctor. You know, I was terrified today to get that chest scan because I am a former smoker / current smoker, and that actually scares me more than my butt.
All right, hey, save it for what we're talking about right now. Good Lord. You know how this works?
I know.
It's your first day.
My lungs scare me more than my butthole.
You're listening to The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
At Brad Nolan on Twitter and Instagram. Brian Moote is here.
I'm at Moot Points on Twitter and Moot Comedy everywhere else. But you know what you can do? Just text Moot, M-O-O-T-E, to 36260, and I'm all in the same place on your phone with a nice picture of my face.
Yeah.
Can you hit the yay button?
Yay!
Yeah, and then follow at Pat Moote on Twitter because I'm funnier.
And his social information. I hate that sound.
My girlfriend loathes that fail noise. It is like, it grates on my nerves.
That's the sound that it makes when I finish. A joke.
Wow.
Joke.
It's a dad joke.
It's actually not a dad joke. I just don't have
It's
anything.
well, it's an inappropriate dad joke.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
It's a grandpa
Granddad joke.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, we're going to talk about, let's get a recap on where Pat's at with, if you're just joining the show, my brother was having some stomach problems, forced doctors to give him a colonoscopy. They found 9 polyps. They removed 8. One was came back as cancerous. So I know we're going to do this in 2 segments, and you're going to have to listen to the podcast on Monday, the next podcast, to actually hear some of the audio from the doctors, because the doctor's stuff is amazing.
It's hot
It's
fire.
amazing how little doctor. It's just amazing. It's amazing when you're trying to be the champion of your own health, where a doctor just doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, and they're just BSing you, and it's like a serious situation.
I'll never forget. Sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but I'll never forget the time my wife's doctor, when she was pregnant, she has lupus. My wife's doctor goes, well, we have people who have like diabetes who they just tough it out in this whatever situation it was.
Wow.
We immediately changed doctors.
Yeah,
I was like, you don't understand the disease you're supposed to understand really well? F you, buddy.
Yeah, and we talked about this doctor who literally had no idea that what Pat was even in his office for, and this was supposed to be the specialist for a CAT scan. A scan, right?
It was supposed to be. He's a
MRI
colorectal doctor. Rectal doctor. The thing is, I thought I was going in for something. He had no idea why I was there, and it was just a complete. It was just a complete.
All right, we have the audio for that, and that is going to be in the next segment, which will be on Monday. Or if you're listening to this on Monday, it's just the next episode. So coming up next, we are going to talk about where we're going to get a status update on where Pat's at now. He's got some surgery dates. He's got some scans. He's got some results. He's got some details.
All that coming up next.
Sure, you can do a stronger tease than that.
Oh, can I? Coming up next. Does that work? No good?
It doesn't work
So
that well.
strong for radio. So strong. So.
Text the word Moote to 36260.
Do it.
And you can get all the episodes and all of Brian's social.
Yeah, actually, I think you should binge listen. If you haven't listened to our show before, you should binge listen to it. You'll get to know everything about us. We've got an episode way back in the archives called "We're All Going to Sleep on the Couch Tonight," where we totally would had if our significant others listened to the show, they would.
It was
us.
early on in the show, and I think they didn't binge listen.
They didn't know yet. I downplay. Like if my girlfriend's like, "I'm going to listen to the show," I'm like, "Yeah, you should listen to the new ones."
Yeah, just the new ones are better.
Going back in the
over
archives.
20 hours of episodes living on that app thing. So.
And there will be more to come. All right, Pat. So give us an update on where you're at now, and also your GoFundMe status update, because he's got to GoFundMe because this is going to be one hell of an expensive
It's going to get a little pricey.
ordeal.
Can you imagine?
Actors don't have insurance?
Actors have insurance, but
But I mean, that
insurance
deductible is a beast.
Yeah, and now I'm so I'll give you the update.
Yeah, let's get to it.
So
Go ahead.
I mean, the last time that we talked about it, I think it was we had got the imaging back, so it has not spread, it hasn't metastasized as far as I know. The problem is that they can't really tell me what stage it's at until they actually take that piece out, and then there's a lymph node in there that they can look at and test, and they can.
There's a lymph node inside the polyp?
Inside the section of colon that they're going to take out. So your body has lymph nodes all over it to kind of like regulate.
What the hell is a lymph node? Are you sure? I'm going to Google image it while you talk.
It'd be like an admiral of your immune system, I think. Like
right.
it kind
Right,
of like
so-
it designates where certain white blood cells and things are going to go to, fight things.
Right, it
like
regulates the
So, like, if you have strep throat, they check your lymph nodes on your throat because
Right,
if they're
okay.
swollen, it means they're working overtime. So they can see if, they can see if whatever is.
So in addition to losing part of your colon,
Yes.
you're going to lose
The doctor actually said, this doctor that I just talked to.
A lymph node.
Yeah, they're taking that out. But, so here's the thing is that the decision I had to make was whether or not I was going to let them take out my entire colon or let them take out part of the colon.
Which is sounds like a big decision to make.
It's a huge...
Do you want this organ anymore or no?
It's 4 feet long. If I got the whole thing out, I could wear it like a scarf. Like, I mean,
God.
I don't think I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, man.
Why not?
It's got to smell.
colon
It's got to
scarf.
smell awful.
What about those like sleeves for athletic sleeves?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's not gross.
Like to cover tattoos?
Yeah, that's right. With butthole.
It's so gross. gross.
Somehow it looks better than the dumb tattoos I have. So I had seen a couple doctors. The first doctor I talked to basically told me that his suggestion and only suggestion was take out the entire colon. For some reason, my general practitioner decided to call me after that and tell me that I'd be stupid, basically, to not take that doctor's advice. But I was like, hey, I just want another opinion. He's like, well, you need to take this serious. You need to do this ASAP. And I was like, well, what does that mean? He was like, as soon as possible. I was like, yeah, no,
I know what the acronym means,
Did you go to
jackass.
medical school to learn that acronym, you jerk?
That's actually.
I have cancer. Don't pick on me.
They spend an entire medical school quarter
Just
on
to learn
ASAP.
how to talk down to
Acronyms.
people who are sick. Leave me alone. So
FYI, that's a hell of a class right there.
yeah. What's that mean?
Okay, so let me kind of dumb this down a little bit, okay?
do it.
Your colon doctor said, hey, take out your colon.
Yes.
And then your general practitioner said, do whatever he said because he's really good at this. And you said, I want a second opinion. And he's like, you're an ass.
Yeah, basically.
He's like, why would you want a second opinion?
Yeah, why would I want a second opinion?
gave you my second
I'll tell
opinion.
You why. I'll tell you why.
Such a silly thing to ask because why does anyone want a second opinion? More information, please.
Exactly. The only thing that I can arm myself with right now is information. That's all I have. You have something inside of you that makes you feel helpless. Like you're not in charge of your own life, of your own body, of your own health anymore. So the only thing that I can do is learn about it. And learn what I can do about it and arm myself with information because the unknowing is another level of helplessness that sucks ass. Like it sucks ass. And I might not have one for long. So
well, then that's the thing and from the audio we're going to play in the next segment is that doctor just sounding, I mean, I'll give you a little taste of it. This is the doctor saying he finally gets it.
Now I know what's going on.
Now I know what's going on.
Now I know
Your doctor should never say that when you're the one educating them.
Now I know what's going on.
All right, so before we end this segment, what's up with your GoFundMe? Where can people find it, and what's it for, and what are you doing?
I now have a doctor that I really like. We're only going to remove part of the colon. It's going to happen on July 11th at this point. It could happen on the 2nd, but I think July 11th is when it's going to happen. The GoFundMe will be launched on Monday at the latest. The GoFundMe is going to cover my medical costs, also some living costs while I'm recuperating laid up, also to produce a documentary that I'm making about the process. And honestly, at this point,
why men should take this colon health
serious.
serious.
Why everyone should take this idea seriously because we're exposed to so many more things. Breast cancer is on the rise. Prostate cancer is on the rise. Colon cancer is on the rise. Like these things are on the rise. So the documentary is going to use my journey to give people an idea of what this experience is like and also try and get to the bottom of some of these problems in my bottom.
And if you want to get the link to the GoFundMe, it's on my app. I almost said it's on my podcast.
Text the word Moote to 36260 and listen to the next episode because that's where we're going to talk about these damn doctors.
Yay! With Brad Nolan.
Yay with Brad Nolan.
Yay!
New name.
At ACE, we believe there's nothing better than helping kids. That's why we've been proud to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals for over 25 years. This Friday through Sunday, get our 5-gallon bucket and 20% off almost anything that fits inside when you donate $5 to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And like ACE, CMN hospitals are local, so the money you donate helps kids near you.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Offer valid at participating stores on regular price merchandise only. Additional conditions and exclusions apply. See store for details.
Celebrate Venus Fashion Week and discover the new fall fashion collection while saving at Venus. This weekend only, spend $100 and get an additional $15 off. Spend $150 and get $30 off. Just go to Venus.com and use the promo code SWEATER to save today.